Welcome to the Mrs. X Finance channel, MXF. I am your host, Katie, and today what we will be discussing is finding your purpose. I actually read an article today saying that people are finding it very difficult to find what their purpose is. So I thought that this would be a great topic to discuss today. Okay, so let's get into it. Finding your purpose. So based on the research that I have conducted through Google, here are some ways to find your purpose. Reflect on your life. Consider what moments in your life have been the most meaningful and what emotions you felt in those moments. You can also think about what makes you angry and what your ideal environment is. So, if there's a group of people that you're currently hanging out with and you're like, they don't really suit my values, or they don't suit my values at all, really take a look to see who it is that you're hanging out with. Because when you actually take a look to see who you're hanging out with, whether they are providing you with, and I don't want to say positive energies or positive vibes, but just a better atmosphere, your life can completely change drastically. Hands down, I have actually done this recently myself. I have really had to take a look at the groups of people that I've been hanging out with, and I have decided to cut a good 80% of them out, and I have my core family members and core friends and a wonderful spouse. So once and I'm not saying you have to go through and go ham and be like, I'm not talking to you anymore. You're not doing anything for my life. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is if they're not bringing any forms of benefits to your life, and I don't mean benefits in like giving you stuff, I mean actual meaningful conversations. Do you guys like the same things? How do you feel when you're within that company of people? Are they going down the right path, essentially? Or is it constant negativity and just garbage conversations that you're talking about? So really take that in. The next one here is identify your values. So this, I think, should actually be first, so then you can reflect on the rest. So, identifying your values, consider what you care about and what your core values are. For example, if you value generosity, you might set a goal to volunteer. That is a great thing to take a look at. So, what are your values? So, for me, and I don't know if this is really a value, but I'm going to say for me it is. So, I'm not a liar. So I don't want to hang out with liars. I have a very high moral compass. And what does a moral compass mean? It means that, quick example, like I couldn't be bought. Like there's not enough in this world that if I disagree with a topic or, I don't know, I guess a product even, it's not something that I would ever endorse or put myself in any forms of situations if it doesn't agree, if I don't agree with the situation at hand. So very high moral compass, and I love it. I would never change my moral compass for anything. The next one is setting goals. Set goals that align with your values and aspirations. You can start with long-term goals and then set out on smaller ones, more manageable goals. So I am a big fan on goals. And personally, I do small goals first, and then I do long-term goals. So I still do them both. I just sit down and say, okay, so the new year is approaching us quite quickly. Today is December the 12th, today is December the 10th, 2024. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to take a look at what my goals were this past year, see how many of them I have been able to conquer, or if some of them still do need some work. But small goals should be completed within a year. Long-term goals can be over a year, maybe up to 5 or 10, depending on what the ambition is. So if your long-term goal is to maybe be a doctor, you're not going to be able to bang that out in 1 year, right? It's going to take you a lot longer to complete that goal, and make your goals realistic. So if you're like, I want to be a millionaire in like 6 to 8 months to 10 years, like really sit down, crunch the math, crunch the goals that you're actually taking a look at, and say, is this something that I can actually be sustainable throughout the goal setting? Because I wonder if I have that video. Let me see here. I think I do. Here. I'm going to play this video.
I think the universe is absolutely and utterly giving. I've never seen anybody dedicate themselves to something completely and fail. I've never seen somebody eat right, go to the gym every day, train really hard. I've literally never seen it. The universe is extremely giving. If you actually try and you actually want it, and you're actually not making excuses, lying, talking shit, you're going to get what you want.
So the video that I just referred to here, it's from my phone, and I have it saved so I can listen to it periodically when I need that boost. I'm assuming that that's Andrew Tate talking. I can't fully confirm that because his face isn't on that video. But it is true when you're going out, and what he's saying, the universe is very forgiving, hands down. What he's saying is completely true. So whatever it is that you want to set your mind to actually conquer, if you actually put the work in, you can't fail. And I sat there and really thought about it, because I ended up going to school in my later years. I was in my late 20s, early 30s, and I was about 32-ish when I actually graduated from college. And that is something my whole life I never thought I would be able to do. I didn't think I was smart enough. I didn't think I was good enough at books. And now I have a wonderful career in insurance for home and auto. And I was able to do it. I'm currently still working for my charter insurance professional diploma or certificate. That has been a long-term goal for me, and I do need to get my act together. I did take a few courses this year, but I do need to take some next year, but nonetheless. So that there is a goal. So for that one there, for the schooling piece, to get a higher education for me. So there's been some people that I work with that were able to get their CIP within a year or two, but they were taking like a crazy amount of courses all at once, and that's just not... I'm just not capable of doing that. I need to be able to focus on one thing at a time. But kudos to the people that are able to go in there and crank out all that material. So again, creating goals, long and short term, and figure out what they are. And it can be simple, like start small, like taking better care of your teeth. That is a huge saver when it comes to money. Especially, if you're not taking good care of your teeth, you'll regret it when you're older. And people might be like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's setting a goal to take care of your teeth. It's not. So the goal can be whatever it is you want it to be. Just make sure that it is something manageable so you're not stressing over it, and don't go crazy. So when the new year starts, we all have goals. Gym memberships will be on the rise from January to February, and then completely dwindle off in March. So if there's something out there that you want, again, remember, the universe is very forgiving. You cannot fail if you work hard enough at it. If you are interested in more information on how to set long and short-term goals, please comment below, and that's a video that we can go over. So the next one here is pursue your passions. Follow your passions and curiosities and trust what feels right. So for this, I have been thinking about starting this channel for the longest time, like a long time, prior to 2021. Prior to that, like I think my girlfriend's kids were like young, like 4 and 5, and now they're like 12 and 10. So This is something that I should have done a very long time ago. I still haven't posted any videos, but I am making videos. I'm still nervous to be posting them. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's just the finance piece. I'm not obsessed with money. I'm obsessed with the budgeting aspect of money for personal finance. And again, I'm not a financial planner, anything like that. I have no schooling in financial planning. I did take one course that the school made me take, but I very much enjoyed it and killed the personal budget and the investing portion of the class. But nonetheless, this is something that I should have been doing for so long, just for fun. I enjoy talking. I enjoy talking about finances. I enjoy helping people. So thinking about what your passions are, and there's a video that Judge Judy, I should go back and see if I can find it, but I remember her saying like learning new things, or not learning new things, but it was like, if you didn't make it in your 20s, you can make it in your 30s. And if you didn't make it in your 30s, you can make it in your 40s. And if you didn't make it in your 50s, you can make it in your 60s. And if you can't make it in your 60s, and then she jumped, you can make it in your 80s. And she said that there was some older lady in her 80s that developed a knack for painting and was apparently a prolific painter. So don't beat yourself up. Life is going to throw curveballs at you. Take them with a grain of salt, learn from those mistakes, and completely bulldoze over it and move on. Focus on your strengths. Consider how you can apply your skills and strengths. You could also try becoming a mentor or volunteering. So, what are your strengths? And I think a lot of people always flounder with this aspect of strength. Like the minute I see or hear, what are your strengths? I immediately just picture myself prim and proper in front of two businessmen doing an interview, being like, okay, so like, tell us a little bit about yourself. What are your strengths? And then it's like Michael Scott pops into my head, and it's like, my strengths are my weaknesses. But nonetheless, so for me, I'm extremely chatty. Is that a strength of mine? Yup. I am able to adapt to pretty well any situation. I'm fantastic under pressure. Finding your strengths can be easily done without having to sit there and picture yourself being interviewed by two people sitting across from you. So, and again, like, your strengths don't have to be super crazy. Maybe you're good at lifting stuff, heavy stuff. I don't know. Maybe you're good at splitting wood. Maybe you're good at writing poetry. Maybe you're good at painting. Maybe you're good at painting houses. Maybe you can shingle a roof. Maybe you're good at landscaping. So there's so many different things that you can be good at that are hands-on or skill-based. So sympathy, empathy, bam, got those down. I think they're actually teaching that in school now, how to show sympathy and empathy. But for some reason, I don't know, I'm hardwired. Because like with my job, I really have to show that sympathy and empathy, and I didn't learn it from my job. It's just something that was ingrained in me. Is that something that you can learn? Sympathy and empathy? I have no idea. But finding your strength, sit down with a piece of paper and come up with two. What are your strengths? Maybe you're good at doing nails. Maybe you're good at multitasking. Maybe you're good at reading good articles or proofreading. Maybe you're good at sewing. Maybe you're good at designing clothes. Maybe you're really good in social settings and meeting new people. It doesn't have to be just like one clump of things. It can be so many different things as to what your strengths are and what it is that you're good at. And it was funny. I remember a long time ago, I'm not a huge hockey fan, but we're more of a football house. Or no, scratch that. We are a football house. There was, I believe it was an NHL player, and he was really good at this one position. But when they moved him to a different team, they put him into a different position, and he just wasn't good at it. And then they were like, well, he's really conquered the position that he was in, so we wanted to challenge him, move him to this position, but he seemed to be floundering, and it seemed like the hockey player, I don't think, really liked it. Based on my recollection, I can't remember if that's the exact case, Any hockey fans out there, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I think the hockey player ended up falling out of love with what he was doing because they just wouldn't allow him to play whatever, position he was playing. He was really talented and good at that. So think about that. Like, even if you feel like you've mastered it, maybe you can go a little bit further on it. Maybe you can, make a career out of it. Like, I think now the career box as to what I had grown up with, because I was born in the mid 80s, I guess, mid to late 80s. I was born in the late 80s. It just seemed like there was this box and that I was put in. I don't know about anybody else. I'll only speak for myself. But it was like a little box I was put in, and it was like, okay, like these are the things that you should do when there's so many different things that you can be doing. And if you think about it too, look at, again, the surroundings in your household, with your friends, with your job, and Google or YouTube the flea. I think it's like the flea method. I don't know. That's what I'm going to call it. And basically, these scientists put all these fleas in a jar, and they were all jumping out of the jar. And then they closed it up, put the lid on it, and then they left it for God knows, I don't know how many days. And when they reopened the jar, the fleas wouldn't jump any higher than the lid, where the lid level was. So your environment dictates that. So really think about it. Number 6, practice gratitude. Be more conscious of how you talk to people and praise them for their work. So I have actually been doing that a little bit more, because I do find that, somebody will be telling me something. I'm like, oh God. Like, I don't have a poker face for certain things, and certain problems that people may have, or my deliverance for certain things just aren't soft as they should be. Like, I can be soft, depending on who the person is. Usually, if I'm being asked advice, I always say, do you want me to pussyfoot around it, or do you just want the brutal truth? Because it's true. Like, don't ask me for the advice and then pick the brutally honest one and let me tell you and then get upset about it, because that's not what I'm interested in. And, if you're a good friend, you're going to pick the brutal honest truth because you want to know the truth, or you wouldn't be asking for somebody else's opinion. So practice gratitude. Be more conscious of how you talk to people. So think about it. Think about a conversation that you've had with somebody today and be like, could I have delivered that a little bit better? Because I remember I was in a meeting once, and this is years ago, and we were just so busy, and it just felt like the walls were caving in. We were just that busy at that one point in our life. And again, this is going back very many years ago. And I remember a supervisor in the meeting, they had made a comment about volume and working. I don't know if she said harder or what it is, but I just remember, and I wasn't even thinking, but I guess I just saw red and just kind of was like, do you know how many emails and phone calls I get every day? Like, do you know how many things I have to be working on? And after that meeting, I had a meeting with my team leader, and he was like, oh, Katie. And I was like, I know, I'm so sorry. But it's funny, half the team messaged me and was like, thank God somebody said something, like we were so done. But he just said, if it comes down to something like that and you have an opinion, he was like, it's fine to voice the opinion, but maybe make it a little bit more Switzerland than what you stated in the call. And I was like, I know, I agree. And I did reach out to the team lead the next day and I apologized. And I just said, like, I'm frustrated, and I felt like our work wasn't being, or my work at least wasn't being valued, even though whatever she had to advise on. Really, she was just cascading it, but I took it the wrong way and was hyper emotional because we were just so busy. Building your community. Find people you feel at ease with and who help you discover your purpose. So not that long ago, I ended up actually volunteering. It's called a turkey. Well, they call it a turkey drive. And I had such a wonderful time. It was unbelievably fun. And I had no idea what to really expect. I haven't volunteered to do something like that before. So the one girl, so the main leader who was organizing the fundraiser, she showed up with a turkey costume. And then one of the girls that I was paired with, she showed up randomly with a turkey costume. And it was just so much fun. And we ended up raising quite amount of money to be purchasing turkeys. So between what people had purchased. So other people went out and they bought turkeys from the store that we were, I don't want to say soliciting, but that we were standing in front of. So basically what you could do is either you could purchase a turkey or provide monetary funds to go towards us purchasing turkeys. So long story short, we were able to raise enough money to buy 50 to 55 turkeys, which was incredible. I couldn't believe it. We bought that many turkeys. So think about it. 55 people or families were able to get a turkey for Christmas because what we did to stand at a door asking people for donations. And I think truly that this is something that I'm definitely going to be doing every year now. And I think I'm going to look to see if they do need assistance come Easter time, because that's something I would definitely like to get involved in. But meeting the new people and things like that, I saw the girl that was dressed up as a turkey, and we were paired with another guy that, and they actually knew each other from school, from college. And it's just something that they wanted to do. It's not like they needed volunteer hours or anything like that. It's just something that they wanted to do to give back to the community. And we were sitting there talking, and I was like, so do you guys do this stuff often? And she was like, oh yeah, I do this quite a bit. I just finished doing a clothing donation. My friend was involved, so I pitched in and helped her out. And I was like, oh my God. And she was so young, and it was just so wonderful to see that there's people out there in the community who are looking to make things just a better place for people within the community, whether they're less fortunate or it doesn't really matter, but it does. They always say it takes a village to raise a child. So what does it take to raise a community? So think about that. And you know what else I've noticed? I say think about that a lot, and hands down, hands down. So to briefly sum everything up, and again, I apologize, for some reason my mic didn't record. The footage was extremely grainy. So I had some really good examples from the other ones, but it just didn't pull through. So nonetheless, finding your purpose. Number 1, reflect on your life. Number 2, identify your values. Number 3, set goals. And I'm going to add there, small first, then long term. Small first, long term. Number 4, pursue your passions. Number 5, focus on your strengths. Number 6, practice gratitude. And number 7, build your community. So this is the Mrs. X Finance channel and the XF. I am Katie. Thank you so much for joining and listening. Please like, share, and follow. Until next time, thank you so much. Bye.